Welcome to a journey where the ancient wisdom meets modern laboratory science. For a long time, manifestation was relegated to the woo woo corners of the spirituality, but today we are stripping away the mystery to reveal the biological hardware behind it. The brain is not a static organ, but a physically changeable association machine. The core of this presentation is built on a neuroplasticity, the concept that your brain can literally rewire its physical structure based on your thoughts, emotions, and environment. If you have ever felt stuck in a diagnosis or a limited past, neuroscience offers the ultimate hope. Your brain is changeable. Throughout this session, we will explore how your mind acts as a movie screen rather than a window. Your eyes don't actually see the world, they take in the light signals that your brain and through your brain and then filters through your memories, beliefs, and programming before constructing the image you perceive. By the end of this guide, you will understand that manifestation isn't about wishing for things to happen to you. It's about becoming the architect of the neural pathways that allow you to perceive and capture the opportunities already surrounding you. So let's begin. We have heard the magnet myth, the idea that if you just think happy thoughts, the universe will magically pull a new car or soulmate into your driveway. But the science is far more empowering. The law of attraction, when looked through a neurological lens, is the biological process of changing your internal state so you can actually perceive and capture existing opportunities. Think of your nervous system as a series of wires. In physics, when current flows through the wire, an electromagnetic force is created. Our neurons communicate via electrical impulses, meaning your body is constantly emitting a field of energy that others, and arguably the universe, can feel. This is why you can feel someone else's anxiety. Our nervous systems correlate. If your brain is wired for scarcity, you're emitting a signal of lack. Manifestation is about shifting that wiring so you are vibrating at the frequency of the version of who you already has what you desire. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. If your brain isn't wired to see the green lights of opportunity, they remain physically invisible to you. We are moving from a passive state of attracting to an active state of neural alignment. To understand why you might feel blind to success, we have to look at a famous study involving kittens. These kittens were raised in an environment where they saw only vertical or horizontal stripes. After a critical period, when they were placed in normal environment, the kittens raised seeing only horizontal stripes were biologically blind to the vertical bars. They would walk right into them because brains had pruned away the neural connections needed to perceive verticality. We are all kittens in our own lives. As we grow, our brains are sponges, but through a process called synaptic pruning, we lose the connections we don't use, leaving behind our programming or conditioning. If you were raised in a logical or realistic household where money was viewed as scarce, your brain may have pruned the connections that would allow you to see abundance. Opportunities are swirling around you right now, but if your perimeter is defined by old programming, those opportunities are as invisible to you as the vertical bars were to those kittens. The good news, through deliberate effort, we can wire in new stripes. We can choose to identify the limiting labels we have adopted and begin the work of resensitizing our brains to the reality we actually want to live. Your brain has two primary modes, the fear state and the dopamine state. When you're stressed, anxious, or doubting yourself, your amygdala, the brain's fear center, hijacks your perception. In this state, your brain is not looking for blessings, it's scanning reality exclusive of potential threats to keep you safe. This is why, when you're nervous during a conversation, you might walk away thinking you did a terrible job. Even if others say you are great, your amygdala literally distorted your memory of the event. Conversely, the reward center is driven by dopamine, which is called the molecule of motivation. Dopamine doesn't just make you feel good, it orients your biological focus towards external goals and drives neuroplasticity. Here's the critical brain hack: doubt destroys dopamine and activates the amygdala. Every time you say, I'm not sure if this will work, you're biologically blinding yourself to the solution. To manifest, you must learn to regulate your nervous system out of the braced state of the amygdala and into the motivated state of the reward center. When your brain is chemically rewarded for seeking out, where your brain is chemically rewarded for seeking out the path to your goals. In the first weeks of any neuroscience program, you learn the Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together wire together. This is the fundamental rule of the association machine. That's your brain. Every thought you have is a physical event. When you repeat a thought or an action, you strengthen the neural pathway associated with it until it becomes your dominant reality. However, there's a dangerous trap here: confirmation bias. Your brain is always filtering reality to confirm what you already believe. More surprisingly, you actually get a dopamine hit when your brain confirms a belief, even if that belief is negative. This is why people say, I knew that would happen when something goes wrong. Their brain is rewarding them for being right about their own failure. This creates a self reinforcing loop where your negative expectations lead to a negative reality, which then reinforces the negative neural wiring. Breaking this cycle requires a radical intervention. You must stop giving your brain the hit of being right about your limits and start intentionally firing the neurons associated with your new, desired identity. Your identity is your destiny because your brain holds a structural model of who you are. This model, often managed by the default mode network, also known as DMN, is used to subconsciously make decisions for you before you are even aware of them. Study shows that the neural representation of a choice often appears in a brain scan before the person consciously knows they made it. If you identify a procrastinator or a victim, your nervous system will subconsciously motivate choices that fulfill that exact identity. Like reaching for a dessert when you're stressed because that's just what I do. To change your life, you must shift from a to-do list to be list. Again, I would like to repeat this sentence. To change your life, you must shift from a to-do list to a to-be list. You cannot achieve big goals as the version of yourself who started. You must become the version of yourself capable of achieving it. Who is the version of you who already has it all? What are their habits? What's their energy? Start being that person now. How do you know if you are truly manifesting or just wishing? You look at your nervous system alignment. Your brain doesn't just listen to your thoughts, it listens to who you are being. If you tell yourself you're going to the gym, but then you sleep in, you are breaking a promise to yourself. This creates a biological unsafety. Your brain goes on a swivel, losing trust in your own word, which keeps you in a state of dysregulation and exhaustion. Discipline is not a core, it is nervous system regulation. When you follow through on your word, you build self trust, and your nervous system becomes magnetic, relaxed, responsive, and emitting high level energy that others can feel. A dysregulated person is draining to be around, but an aligned person attracts opportunities effortlessly because their internal state is in total integrity. Use this matrix to evaluate yourself. Are your actions matching your words? If not, you are reinforcing a reality of fraudulence rather than success. Words versus actions, misaligned, dysregulated. Constant broken promises put the brain on a swivel, creating biological unsafety. Aligned, regulated, doing what you say builds self trust and regulates the nervous system. Discipline, impulse driven by immediate environment and temporary emotions, that is dysregulated. But aligned or regulated, discipline acts as physical nervous system regulation. Energy output, exhausted, braced for impact, draining to self and others when it's dysregulated. But when it's aligned, it's magnetic, emitting high level energy, relaxed and responsive. Your brain just doesn't listen to your thoughts; it listens to who you are being. Now, why is it so hard to stay in a new identity? It's because of identity anchors. You cannot simply think your way into a new life if you're still physically tethered to an old one. Anchor 1: environment. Your brain is an association machine. If you sit in the same chair where you always feel depressed, those neurons will fire automatically. This is why moving or even rearranging your furniture is a massive level up. It forces the brain to build new constructions without prior associations. Anchor 2, your circle. The people around you unconsciously enforce your old baseline. Anchor 3, daily habits. These are routines that chemically replicate your past every morning. Anchor 4, the labels you adapt. Repeating stories like "I always struggle with money" creates biological confirmation. To fully shift, you must actively sever these anchors. As a client discovered, simply telling his friends, I'm just not that type of person anymore, was the first step in stopping a lifelong negative habit. To achieve the unimaginable, you must first believe in the unimaginable. To many, this looks like delusion, but in neuroscience, it's biological advantage. When you operate with the delusional belief, believing without external evidence, you trigger a massive dopamine spike. Because your brain perceives a potential reward, it conserves and directs your energy towards motivated action rather than basing it on doubt. Success builds confidence, which then validates the belief, creating a powerful upward spiral. Delusion is simply choosing to live outside the illusion of the norm. Ignore your current reality and move like it's already yours. This isn't just positive thinking, it's a pro level hack to keep your dopamine high and your performance at its peak. The optimized affirmation formula. Many people claim affirmations don't work, and they are often right, but only because of how they are doing them. If you sit still and repeat "I'm wealthy" while your bank account is empty, your logical mind rejects it as a lie, creating resistance. The secret formula to bypass this resistance is forward movement plus play. Physically moving your body, either walking, driving, or even swimming, mathematically lowers the logical mind's resistance. When you add play, a funky beat, dancing, or activating your whimsy, you boost dopamine, which directly drives accelerated learning and neuroplasticity. This is why it is recommended to listen to affirmations while walking or dancing. By making it fun and hilariously hard to take seriously, you slip the new beliefs past your brain's guard dog and wire them directly into your subconscious. The hallmark of a rewired brain is the ability to respond rather than to react. Most of us live on the reactivity pathway, where stimulus like a rude comment or a tempting dessert triggers an immediate biological reaction based on old programming. This is the impulsive autopilot version of you. By training your executive function through meditation, you physically widen the gap of mindful awareness. In this gap, you can feel the subconscious impulse, the urge to blurt out a defensive remark or give up on a goal, but you develop the power to override it. This gap is where your new identity agency lives. The more you practice mindfulness, the more agency you have over your life's choices. Self sabotage is rarely about laziness, it's about protective mechanism. To clear these blockers, follow this 3-step protocol. Identify the hidden fear. In this, you need to understand that procrastination is rarely laziness. Find the root biological fear. Example, fearing the vulnerability of long term content over curated clips. Look for the opposite evidence. Your limiting belief is not objectively true. If you think money is hard to make, actively hunt for evidence of people whom money seems to come easily. Recognizing that your experience is a result of past programming, not an objective law, opens the door for change. Start small and build proof. Train your belief muscle with tiny, low stakes manifestation. For example, I'm going to see a feather today, or I'm going to find a $20 bill. When those small things happens, it proves that the neuroplastic system actually works, giving the proof needed to tackle bigger goals and bigger manifestations. Bad moments happen to everyone. The difference between an optimist and the pessimist is that the optimist refuses to apply a bad moment to the entire reality. When doubt creeps in, you need a pre developed resiliency plan to execute immediately. Tactic 1: Move your body. Exercise physically resets the nervous system and flushes cortisol from your bloodstream, preventing the braced state from becoming permanent. Tactic 2: Morning pages. This practice is from the artist's way, helps clear the mental cache of anxiety and chaotic thoughts before they can chemically anchor into your day. Tactic 3: Call your believer. We all need that one friend who will relentlessly smack sense into us when we start doubting our power. Having this plan prevents a bad day from turning into a bad life. Synthesis, your daily manifestation protocol. The Architect's Protocol, 4 pillars of conscious creation. Now let's bring it all together into a daily ritual of conscious creation. Vision. Don't just make a to-do list. Make a to-be list. Visualize the habits, energy, and mindset of the version of you who has everything and has already arrived. Alignment. Keep the promises you make to yourself. Every small follow through is a deposit into your nervous system's bank account of safety and trust. Environment. Audit your surroundings. If you want a new life, you must sever the relational and behavioral anchors that keep you tied to your old identity. Joy. Operate in joy. Joy is not just an emotion, it's the biological performance enhancer and your most magnetic frequency. When you feel good, opportunities often appear out of nowhere because your brain is finally wired to receive them. The 3 truths of reality creation. Before we close, I want to leave you with 3 fundamental truths that have guided my transition. Live in your joy. Life is strictly about the journey. If it were about the destination, it would be called death. Joy is the highest operational frequency for your nervous system. You are the creator. Things do not happen to you, they happen for you. You possess the ultimate agency over your neural wiring and your destiny. You can do anything. Never forget how immensely powerful your mind is. Every dream you have is simply waiting for your biological permission to change the way you see the world. You have the hardware, you have the software. Now go out and wire the reality you deserve. Thank you.